you're really missing out. For anybody who's done any kind of acting or theater might have even a bigger appreciation for it like I did, because the way that it is shot is a lot of kind of backstage angles. You also get that, what actors do in between, a run where they have maybe 2 shows in a day. There's always some weird place at the building or the theater that you're performing in, whether it's in New York or in Rhode Island or wherever you are. There's always like some rooftop you can hang out on, and just kind of like chill, have a conversation while people are having a smoke. It's just kind of part of the experience of having those weird places to kind of, have those break in between shows. And it really does show kind of like the backstage angle of things and how it works to be on stage and so forth. So for me, it was kind of fun to see it from that perspective because it was something that was really familiar to me. If you haven't done any acting or theater, I still think that it's something that you can appreciate. It shows you kind of a behind the scenes angle, but also, what this actor is going through and how he's trying to leave behind this Birdman / kind of looks like Batman character, that, he's known for, how to let that go and be known as something different than that iconic character. Which is why I think a lot of these actors who play, Batman, like Christian Bale, like only signed on for 3, and then he does other roles. And then you have all the, especially Daniel Craig is kind of stepping out of the James Bond, role. I think because he doesn't necessarily want to be known as just James Bond. But, I think once you take on that role, there's really no way to let that go. We'll see you in other things, but you're always going to be James Bond now. Same thing with Pierce Brosnan, James Bond. Sean Connery, the James Bond. So The Revenant, though, guys, another film by this amazing director. This film was really about the human spirit and how you adapt in the worst of circumstances. The will to survive, the will to live on. Literally, just the worst conditions. This takes place, 98% of the movie is in the snow, in the freezing snow, snowstorms, just, oh my God, horrible, horrible weather. And they filmed this on location in these conditions. And, Leonardo DiCaprio really pulled it off, as well as these other actors. Tom Hardy did an excellent job. He was a great villain this guy plays. But DiCaprio had to really kind of work under some of the worst conditions I think I've ever seen an actor go through. And he kind of did some method things. There's a scene where, spoiler, but whatever. There's a scene where he is basically almost starving to death, and he sees this other Native American who has kind of taken down a buffalo. And in the movie, he's eating a buffalo liver. That's basically what it is. And as I'm watching him eat this, I was like, there's no way that this is fake. And come to find out, after watching a couple of interviews last night, it was actually real. And from what I've also read, DiCaprio is a vegetarian. So he said that they tried to give him some kind of pancake type of consistency of something to eat. And he said it just looked completely fake. So he said that he would actually, eat the liver for the scene. And he takes a couple bites out of it and starts chewing on it, and he throws up. And that's actually real. He throws up, and then he continues to eat it. And he said that, that was one shot. They only did it once. He'll never do that again. But, if you're an actor and you want to go method, hey, man, that's the way to do it. I'm not sure if another really kind of gross example of somebody doing method acting that I always think of when we talk about stuff like this is if you haven't seen The Machinist with Christian Bale, where he's like all skin and bones, there's one scene where he's running through a sewer and he's barefoot, and they were giving him the option to wear these rubber things over his feet that look like feet so he wouldn't have to run through this stuff, and he decided to just do it barefoot, and he was legit running through like raw sewage. So, hey, if you want to really get into character and you want to go method and actually experience that so it plays more truthfully on the screen, then all the power to you. I have done some stuff that's kind of gross. Not really going to get into it right now because that's not the point, but it definitely makes things more believable as far as like your immediate reaction to things, and when people see that on film, it definitely works. So as far as The Revenant goes, really great story. Definitely check it out. The film doesn't have a whole lot of dialogue either, which, isn't really that important in a film like this. I mean, for the way that it was shot and getting really great shots of just these cinematic spectacle scenery type shots that he got were just amazing. They really were awesome just to look at, and he really did some great work with like these dream sequences, and kind of going back and forth. You're almost living within this character's memory, and then kind of going back to present to see exactly where he is and what he's going through. So interesting movie. Something that I am so glad that DiCaprio did, because I don't think anybody else could have pulled it off like he did. Every actor is going to have a different way of doing it, and I thought his interpretation of this character was excellent. And it's based on, true events rather. So if you guys haven't checked it out, take the time to check it out. I am super excited that he won the Golden Globe this past Sunday.
What an incredible honor. Wow, that meant a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you to the HFPA and to the other fantastic performances in this category. You guys were unbelievable. What a terrific year in film. 2 years ago, we found ourselves submerged deep in nature with all of its complications and all the beauty that it gave us cinematically. This film was about survival. It was about adaptation. It was about the triumph of the human spirit, but more than anything, it was about trust. And there's no one more deserving of that trust than our director, Alejandro Inarritu. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this journey with you. Your leadership, your vision, your acute attention to making every day so visceral and real for us. I've never had an experience like this in my entire life. The depths to which he and Chivo and the entire crew went through was unfathomable, and I really want to thank the actors that I got to stand shoulder to shoulder with in this film, in particular my good friend Tom Hardy, who is a beast, an unbelievable talent, who was there every single day, who I know in real life would never bury me alive and leave me out in the cold to die like that. My makeup artist, Sean Grigg, you're an unbelievable talent. Thank you for all the genius you brought to this movie. I have to thank all the people involved in making this film: Mary Parent, Steve Golan, Brad Weston, Jim Giannopoulos. But Arnon Milchan, there's no one in this industry that would stick with a film like this to its bitter end. You are the champion of this film. My entire team, Jen, Sean, Rick, Steve, Gretchen. Rick, thank you for pushing me constantly to make choices like this. My parents, I love you dearly. My friends, you know who you are. And lastly, I want to share this award with all the First Nations people represented in this film and all the indigenous communities around the world. It is time that we recognize your history and that we protect your indigenous lands from corporate interests and people that are out there to exploit them. It is time that we heard your voice and protected this planet for future generations. Thank you very much.
Totally deserving of it. He's also been nominated for a SAG Award, and he was nominated for a Oscar again. So I'm hoping that he gets this Oscar, finally. When he got his Golden Globe nomination this past Sunday, he got a standing ovation. Because I think everybody realizes that he is just getting robbed every time. The only one that I can't say he was robbed from, and there was a couple, but specifically was Training Day. Where he lost it. I think he lost The Aviator to Denzel Washington Training Day, which I got to give it to Denzel on that. I saw The Aviator, thought the movie was kind of boring. I thought his performance was great, but I thought that Denzel was more deserving of that award because he just did a phenomenal job in Training Day. So I'm hoping that he wins the SAG Award. I'm hoping that he wins at least the Academy Award. Just so deserving of it. And he's actually going to be taking on another role where he's going to be playing, I believe it's H.H. Holmes, who is the guy who, there's a book based on him, but it's also the story of the gentleman who, I don't really want to call him a gentleman, but, you know, he had this whole hotel where he built it, and he would bring women in and just kind of, they'd basically be like torture chambers, and he would like just torture the shit out of them and trap them. Really fucked up guy. He was a serial killer. And DiCaprio is going to be playing him. So I'm really looking forward to actually seeing that. So, and I guess the guy's name, was Dr. Henry Holmes, or H.H. Holmes. So one of the first documented serial killers in the modern sense of the term. So make sure you guys check that movie when it's when it comes out. I can't talk today. And it's going to be directed by the Martin Scorsese. So him and DiCaprio do a ton of stuff together. So obviously, you kind of know what you're getting, but I'm looking forward to seeing DiCaprio in a twisted role, where he kind of is playing the villain, because he doesn't really do a lot of that. So with that being said, make sure you guys check out The Revenant. One more thing, it has scored 12, that's right, people, 12 Oscar nominations. And these Oscar nominations don't come easy. I mean, this is going up against a ton of films, but this is just a testament to how good the film is. So, I mean, these are what it's up for, basically. So it's up for Best Picture, which is the big one, right? So, and it's DiCaprio's also up for Best Actor. Then we have Best Supporting Actor, which is Tom Hardy. Let's keep going here. Scroll down the list a little bit. Film editing, The Revenant. Production design, cinematography, definitely unbelievable. Cinematography in this was phenomenal. I even said that when I left the theater last night. Costume design. This has featured a lot of Native Americans, and costume design is just important as anything else. If the costumes aren't working, then the movie's not going to work. So that's another one it's up for. It's also up for makeup and hairstyling. DiCaprio grew out his beard, like that he has in the film, is his beard and his hair. Also, what else? Sound editing, sound mixing. So yeah, those are basically the awards that it's up for. So, as it may not take home all of them, I suspect that it will take home a good amount. So make sure you guys check out The Revenant. Definitely worth it. And I keep saying that, but go see it. It was awesome. Moving on. So I want to kind of jump into, something that I always jump into. It's a segment of mine. So since we've kind of been talking about Memoriam, and it is a little depressing, but something that is worth talking about, I do want to kind of switch gears a little bit and jump into a segment that I call
Scenes That Make Me Laugh.
Let the good times roll!
Now, this scene is actually from one of my favorite movies of all time, starring the one and only John Candy.
Her mother set up this conference with you.
I'm assistant principal here, as you've probably noticed from the indications on the door.
This door?
The outer door.
The outer door?
Yes.
Because there's nothing on this one.
That's just about enough of that.
Sorry.
I've been an educator for 31.3 years, and in that time, I've seen a lot of bad eggs. I say eggs because at the elementary level, we are not dealing with fully developed individuals. I see a bad egg when I look at your niece. She is a twiddler, a dreamer, a silly heart. She is a jabberbox. And frankly, I don't think she takes a thing in her life or her career as a student seriously.
She's only 6.
That is not a valid excuse. I hear that every day, and I dismiss it.
I don't think I want to know a 6-year-old who isn't a dreamer or a silly heart. And I sure don't want to know one who takes their student career seriously. I don't have a college degree. I don't even have a job.